Hi, I'm Kurt Hayden with the IASIG, and I'm here at GDC 2026. One of the things we love to do at this show is to talk to our sponsors directly. So today, I'm going to take you out to the show floor, and we're going to talk to Aaron at FMOD and get a little demonstration of what's new with their FMOD Studio software. Let's go. We are here at the FMOD booth at GDC 2026. I'm Kurt Hayden, and this is Aaron Edwards from FMOD. Aaron's going to show us what's going on.
Thanks, appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to see you, man. I'm really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so as usual, we're here at GDC. It's great to be here. It's a nice long trip that we got there. And yeah, so we're showing a preview of FMOD Studio 2.4. This is very much a very early build. We're very much in development. All these features are constantly changing, but we just wanted to get this out there and see what people think. And yeah, there's some really fun stuff this year. I'm really excited. So a bunch of the changes we're doing is really focused around usability and connecting the creativity of the users to the door, to FMOD itself, right? So one of the things that I wanted to do was improve the way that we're ingesting WAV markers. So currently you can add like loop points to a WAV, or you can add WAV markers or sync points depending who you ask. And they can do certain things, but it was a little bit limited. So now what we can do in FMOD is you can actually have loop points in the instrument itself, remove loop points. We can come in and go add loop points, and you can see it's automatically set this to the audio file's loop points itself, but we can just come in and override that whenever we want. So we can edit these, we can do whatever we need. Makes it a lot more easier and malleable to tweak these values, right? And
it automatically finds loop points?
Yep, as long as they are set as loop points in Reaper, it's just a standard region. And then when you export it, make sure you select export with markers and regions enabled. It's an easy setting in the export things.
Great.
Straight. You can also have start offset. So if you have a WAV marker that's named start_offset, it will automatically set the start offset value of the sound. Likewise, we have a new feature as well called release tail. So release tail is a feature that we've kind of taken for inspiration from things like contact sample libraries, where when you hold down a note on a musical sample library, it loops, and then when you let go, it triggers another sample that's the release of it, right? The decay of the room or the instruments resonating.
Right.
Right? So we've implemented that ability in FMOD. So if you have a marker that's called release_tail, it'll automatically set that. And what happens is, depending on how you're triggering it, if you de-trigger the instrument, the current sound that's playing, as long as you have cut enabled or async and cut depending on the setup, it will jump from wherever it currently is to that release tail and then play out the remaining release tail instead of just stopping or just fading out. So in this case, we have this magic casting kind of sound. And you can see we've got the loop region here. So if I just press play, you can see we're looping around, and as soon as I press stop, the playback position jumped to the end where it actually triggered the release tail of the sound. So now we've got this event that is a completely procedural looping start, release, and looping sound.
Wow. And this is all new?
Yes. So the loop points were in Studio before.
Right.
We've just added a much better visualizer so you can actually see what's happening. And then the ability to edit those loop points is new. The ability to add the release tail is new as well. And start offset was always there, a big crowd favorite, but now you can automate where you want it to go. A really common use case is for people to set this to 50% and then hold Alt and drag up to randomize it, and now this will start from any random point within this loop, this file, which obviously is not great for this particular one, but it's really useful for ambiances and things. So you could set that to 50% of the audio file in something like Reaper and have it automatically pick it up. So much nicer workflow. Another thing we've added is we've done a pass on automation curves a little bit. So a common problem for users, especially ones that have really complex automation curves, let's say you've got a labeled parameter where you have different entries, right? You could have, off value A, B, and C. That's not so bad, but some games have pretty detailed ones. They can go up to 50 values plus. I was audio director for Malice recently, and we had a global parameter that was dictating what demon type was on the screen,
Okay.
and it had 63 entries. So editing that in the current space is quite difficult. So we have a look at this tree event, and let's say we want to edit this automation curve here, right? By itself, it's not too bad, but if I want to move this by specifically 2 dB, you've got to be pretty sensitive to get there, right?
Yeah.
And if there's a bunch of different values, it can be really hard to edit and nearly impossible. So what we've done is we've added in the ability to open up a custom resizable automation editor. So you want to make this bigger? Great. There you go. Now you've got a full screen editor.
Wow.
And you can dynamically resize this to whatever you want, of course. So now if we go maximize, we want to move this by 2 dB, got a bunch more room to actually do this stuff.
Wow.
So really nice way to work, really needed feature. Likewise, we've also added in what we're calling curve presets. So as a way to save automation curve shapes, what we've done is we've saved these as normalized values from 0 to 1. So 0 to 1 on the X and Y, 0 to 1 on the Y as well. And then what we can do is just click and drag these into any automation, and it will apply that automation curve for us on the dot. So now we can really quickly swap out automation types for these tree sounds and preview how they're sounding, just click drag in. And this will work with live update in the game. So you can start a game, hit live update, preview a bunch of different automations super quickly.
Awesome.
So I think these ones themselves are really nice workflows that are going to really improve and make people really just be able to prototype and test stuff out really well. Speaking of prototyping, there's another really big feature that I think is really cool for prototyping early stage products. Let's say you're on a game and they haven't fully fleshed it out yet, or they are at the point where there's not really enough triggers in the game for you to get the audio in, but you've already developed a bunch of sounds and you want to make sure that it's working as you would expect, right? Well, you could use the sandbox, which is a really good feature of FMOD, but if you've got multiple global parameters or multiple parameters on events, it gets a little bit tricky to navigate those because you've got to move the event instance and then you've got to also click and drag the different parameters to change them so that they're kind of reflecting. It means you've got to manually do it one by one. It's really tough.
Sure.
So what we've done is we've added a new section to the sandbox, which is the timeline. We've added the timeline, which is allowing us to animate positions of objects,
look at that.
as well as automations of global parameters. So you can see over here, you can see we've got the global parameter is being automated, being moving, and you can automate the other global parameter of day and night. We can see the position of the listener is being automated, the position of the different events as well. And this all lets us get these really more interesting, more dynamic systems that allow us to test what this might actually sound like in a more realistic game environment, because we're moving through all of these trees. The wind speed kicks up, and then day and night, we switch to night, everything dies down. And we're now controlling all of these parameters and values in a really, a much more holistic way.
Yeah, in a visual way.
So, yeah, that means that we have much more control over prototyping early on, before this stuff even gets into the game. And then we're able to then use that to build out our systems in a way that we know will work once they get into the game. So I think this is a really powerful feature that I'm really excited to see what people actually do once they get there. We've also made improvements to the profiler. You can now see DSP percent usage per event. So on the event, you can see all the different, what DSPs that event is using and the percentages of the DSP consumption per event. You can also split the event up into tracks and sends and whatnot in the profiler. That's all being currently developed and finalized. We've done a pass on HTML5 as well, so there's a bunch of improvements on HTML5 that's in there. We can also add shared effects to the mixer now, which has been a big requested feature. We're looking at improving the latency to sends. We're actually looking at 0 latency sends will be coming in soon. We can also add local parameters to the mixer. So it's a pretty beefy update. We're very excited to had this one out
Wow.
there. It's getting very close.
Well, you have a good reputation for listening to what people want, and
Very much appreciate that.
and you traveled a long way. You said, where did you come from?
We're
For
from-
those who don't know.
We're from Melbourne, Australia, so it was about a 13 and a half, 14-hour flight in.
How exciting!
Yeah.
And you come here every year.
We do come here every year. Yeah, it's great. We wouldn't miss it. It's been excellent to catch up with all our American family.
You should be here to meet Aaron, to see
Agreed.
this stuff in person.
Come swing by. We'll show you a bunch of cool stuff. I had some fun demos. There's really good
Awesome.
music demos too. If
Thank
you're into
you
that.
very much, Aaron. It's
Thank you
always
so
a
much.
pleasure to see you.
Likewise. Very
And
much
that wraps
likewise.
up our segment here with FMOD.